Okay, or number 16, it says, find the area between the curves. And just kind of like do somewhat of a visualization of the problem. And we'll talk about why it's so problematic. That's e to the x, relatively simple. And minus x squared plus 5 is a problem that opens downward like this over here. The problem is I know what the area is. It's this region over here. That's the area they're talking about. My issues over here is getting the points of intersection. All right, but before I do that, I want to point out it's fairly easy to write down if I knew this thing, I'm going to call it B, and if I knew this thing over here was A. It's really easy to write this thing down. What do you get? A, B. The upper curve is what? It's the parabola, so I'm going to say 5 minus x squared minus the lower curve, which is e to the x, dx. So it's really easy to write that down. What's not easy is getting those points of intersection. So I just want to briefly talk about that use of software over here. And I already went to the whiteboard and not whiteboard, but I did Sage for you. Reset, set this thing. That's the f of x, by the way. A is the root. Now someone says, what do you mean it's the root? You might have to graph it out. And if you graph this thing out, you would notice it's somewhere between -3 and -2. So I said, find the root of it, right? And that's all I did. I said, find the root of it. And the computer did it for me. What's the root of it? It's that number over there. It's relatively a simple number for a computer to get, but for a human to get, it takes a lot more effort to get. The B, it's over here somewhere. How did I do that? Well, I used the computer to do that. And I'm going to say the B was somewhere between 1 and 2. All right, somewhere between 1 and 2. I was able to get that over there. Then I did the integration, and I got a number out of it over here. So let me point out, the really only real reason to use a computer over here was to get the A and the B in the problem. All right, it took effort. All right, could you have other techniques to get it? Of course you could, but I think it's easy to do. Use a computer to get those points of intersection. The integration couldn't get any easier, by the way. It's the evaluation. How does this thing integrate? 5x minus x cubed over 3 minus e to the x, limits integration a to b. And it's fairly easy to do. Unfortunately, the a and the b are really nasty numbers. They're not so easy to do. That's why I'm using a computer to get that, and you should get this number over here. Thank you.